So we'll open the directions, which are the four cardinal signs, and then we're going to work with the above direction, the below direction, and the within, which is really the seven paths of initiation that we're going to go through in this course. So we'll open them and say thank you for holding us in this container. So my east is right there. To the direction of the East, to the medicine of the East, to new beginnings, to awakenings, for enlightenment, for new babies and new dawns. Thank you for coming here and holding space for this beautiful miracle of beautiful souls joining together to learn and to enhance their light. Thank you. Aho. To the winds of the South, to the children, to learning from our mistakes, to finding out new ways and working with our creativity, to going belly to belly with Mother Earth, playing with the sand castles. Thank you so much for holding space for our learning and for our growth. I hope. Gonna turn around. To the winds of the West, to maturity, to all the women's and mothers of the world. Thank you for the waters. Thank you for the great wisdom of the shadows, of the dawn, of the evening, of the darkness itself. Thank you for the void that you teach us. Thank you for all the unseen realms. Thank you for holding space for this medicine. Aho. To the winds of the earth, the north, to the ancestors, to the sages, to all the ones who have walked this path before us, to the place of unconditional love, of unity, community, oneness. Thank you. Thank you for holding space for our sacred work. Thank you for guiding us and protecting us. Aho. You can go above. To the higher realms, to the superconscious, to all of our guides, the stars, the moon, the sun, God, Great Spirit, to all the ones who have already passed onto the blue-black path, guiding us from the heavens. Thank you for continuing to shower your gifts on us, your healing. Thank you for holding space for the sacred work. I hope we can go to the ground. To the world below, to the underworld, to our past lives, to the past path that we've walked, to all of the ones who reside underneath the earth, to the crystalline grids, to the core of this planet, to Pachamama. Thank you for guiding and holding this ground firmly for us to walk on. We hope that all this medicine trickles back down to you can grow new seeds. Thank you. Aho. And you can just go to your own hearts. Put your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Feel your heartbeat. I'm inviting you to feel the fire beyond the heartbeat. This is called the Uranda, the light, the soul that resides within us, in the nucleus of us. It activates with the power of now, of right here, right now, and thank yourself for being right here and right now in this place, awoken, present, conscious. Thank you for another day. Thank you for change and choice. Thank you for all the souls that are here. You can even imagine all those flames, these beautiful flames in a circle together, which ideally, this is how this would be. Imagining a circle of us, 12, right now, holding a beautiful flame of truth and pure love. Thank you. Well, well, that's it. That's all the teachings. I have nothing else to teach. All right. So let me share my screen with you as I have prepared a presentation. This will also be, I will send it in an email along with the recording, and those who joined the course or already joined, I'm using the Teachable platform, which is pretty cool because you'll have it all there. If you haven't been able to log into the platform, let me know. But then each class, each of the recordings, the Zooms, and all these will be there, hopefully. Okay. Here we go. Oh, all right, there we go. This is where we start. Okay, so this is the intro and the layout to the medicine carrier training. As I said before, the medicine carrier idea itself comes from the lineage that I was trained in at first. I was trained by the Four Winds Society at first with Dr. Alberto Villoldo, who has brought in the teachings of the Quero tribes of the high Andes of Peru. And what they do is they carry something that's called a mesa. It's a medicine bundle. And so they are called the mesa carriers, which I translated into the medicine carriers. And what the mesa is um, a beautiful fabric that already within it, the Andean people, they have woven in literally their all all the wisdom into the fabrics. And so it's a fabric that has those different symbols of the wisdom. And then within it, you'll have different stones representing the different directions, the different healings. For me, they're called kuyas. They're healing stones that each one of them is entrusted with this transformative experience. And the idea also for the classes is that each of you will be able to have that medicine bundle. So I can already say, and I'll remind people, but you can already find a fabric. I'll show you mine soon as well. And just find stones that or crystals that can fit in the palm of your hand. We will end up with 12 of them eventually, and you can start collecting them. So that's the idea of the medicine carrier, and it just allows the wisdom to pass, and the healing to happen. And it doesn't necessarily, I mean, you can use it for actual, I guess, medicine, psychedelic medicine, but that's really not the point. If anything, if it's psychedelic medicine that some of you thought that's what we're looking at, it's a part of it, and it can help you explore these deeper realms. But this is much bigger than that. Just a good place to put that out there. So the idea of the course comes from the idea of the walk. of the path itself, the walk. This is the spiral path of the soul that's been taught in many, many traditions. Some will call it the earth walk. So, because it's specifically talking about this earth school, maybe some of you can identify with different realms and different teachings, and they're all valid and important. But it's important to remember that what we're doing here is how do we integrate it into this here life, onto this earth, onto these times. And so, this earth walk is divided into 7 different paths where as a spiral goes, the first 4 paths are actually the medicine wheel itself. And they say that you can start each of these 4 paths uh, separately, but you end up walking them parallel to each other. So those are the first 4 paths. And afterwards, the 3 paths after that, those come in more of a hierarchy, just as an idea. And we'll learn about all those. And the idea is also we'll be able to trace what paths are other people walking in right now and not judge. I think it helps with non-judgment about what they're going through, understanding where they're at. So just checking a message. Okay, never mind. Papa. Teva joined us independently. Great. This is something that's been known. I wish, and it is my wish, I'm starting to do it, that this is what children start learning in schools. That's what we used to learn around fires, I believe, and in tribal times. But in our modern era, a lot of this has been dismissed or forgotten about. I like the idea of the spiral path, and the circle, and we've turned everything into squares. And if something doesn't fit that square, it's been dismissed. So at the same time, everything is in chaos in the last couple of years or decade. And that actually leads us to see that there's like we have to step outside of that map, step outside of that square, and that gives us an opportunity to go back to older teachings and also see what is the future for us as humanity. And this is the time that we're in right now. Specifically, I've been talking about it in different places, but just now, the reason why I'm starting this on January 11th, 2026, is because it is believed that right now, this year, the 11th day and 111 also is awakening and new beginnings, is really a beginning of a new era. Of a new era of us remembering and coming back home. So also these teachings, the point is that nothing here is supposed to feel completely new, but my intention is that I can assist you in remembering and anchoring what you already know inside in your hearts. Okay, well, we just called in the directions and we started with the 4 directions. The 4 directions also connect with the 4 elements. And I feel it is really sad that we talk a lot, I think, in different ways about the 4 elements. Is something that we do learn in school. The one thing we forget is that there is a 5th element. The 5th element doesn't really fit even in the wheel, and so it is even taken out of that. But what we need to understand is that the 5th element is the wheel itself, is the circle itself, is the foundation where all the other elements are based on. And one would say that in a way, that's the origin, that's the core of our planet Earth, is that as well, that has all those elements within it. And that element is called ether or space. But within my studies, and I'm glad to share this with you, I believe that it should be called love. It is really love. It is the essence of existence. That idea of why do we keep doing this again and again and again? It is also because of love, of unconditional love. So I like the idea of love because if you understand love in this unconditional, formless way, you can understand the fifth element. You can understand ether or space because it's not the nothingness. It's not like the not having. It's it's sort of like this cloud or mist or, foundation that's just you cannot touch. It's beyond that, that still holds everything together. In a way, it's also been called not just the fifth element, but that's what I've seen also a lot have been talking about the fifth dimension, ascension to the fifth dimension. Some would say that's what Earth's frequency was to begin with before the fall from Eden, which you can look at as the third dimension. Um, these, this has been prophesized, all the different prophecies, the rainbow prophecy, the eagle and condor, the Maya prophecy, the story of the different prophecies of the Lemurian and the Atlantean. All of those have been speaking about the original frequency of this planet, where we're all interconnected and remember and love each other. We have it in Jewish teachings when we talk about Ve'avta l'reacha kamocha. It's all there. And it's sad, I think, that we've forgotten that. I think we can see that our world has forgotten that. So I do want to bring this right at the beginning, right at the intro, is that this is what everything is based on coming back to love. So if in the previous slide I said this is the journey, the spiraling path back home is the path back to love. Love is our home. Love is our original frequency. In the teachings that I'm going to teach through Jamie Sam's teachings as well. A lot of it is based on it. It's a book that I recommend that you get as well. That's called Dancing the Dream. Bringing in the teachings from the Sanaka tribe. And there they talk about the medicine blanket. And again, I would say that the fabric of this medicine blanket is love. The fabric itself is love. That's the vibration. And it said that like the matrix or the different structures, right? And those are the other four elements are all woven into that fabric. So it's not so much about leaving the matrix as it is to understand that it's this whole fabric, a medicine blanket, awakening within it, mastering the rules to break them, if you will. Jamie Sams talks a lot about what is called the 0 point field. We also see it in different traditions, actually, where the 0 point field, I feel Eckhart Tolle has also talked about that same idea. So we see it in Eastern and more modern philosophies. And that's the place of pure form. And we will learn within this cohort, within this course, how to identify, how to get in and out of this 0 point field, which is our birthright. It is the place where we're no longer held within any of the structures, where we have full sovereignty and choice and will. And it's also where we can step outside of the drama triangle or see everything as this big story. Step outside of basically become a full observer is how also what the 0 point field is about. And we can learn how to do that throughout this course. I do want to check in and see because I've like jumped into the material, into the foundation, really creating that. I want to see if there's any questions before I jump along. And I can also tell you that at any point, if you have a question, you can either like raise a hand here or just jump in, and we will obviously have some time for questions later. So here I've just laid down the different tools, techniques that we'll be using in this course. So again, the foundation of the medicine wheel that we've already started. I find that the medicine wheel is something that you can, every time I step into it, I just learn more in a way by bringing you in to study. I feel like I benefit the most every time I can go deeper into each of these directions and elements and rediscover this beautiful architecture of this earth, and how everything is. So that would be the framework, right? The medicine wheel and being introduced to it. So that's one of the core teachings on this course. The other one is really like you've seen the five elements, which I've actually separated from the medicine wheel. A lot of times, and we'll go deeper into it, a lot of times the medicine wheel teachings connect the elements, but the four, by the way, the four elements into them. Only if you look at different teachings from different parts of the world, the elements and the directions, they keep changing and mixing and don't really make sense anymore. And so I realized that it's just about teaching the elements, and that's a way to kind of like compound it and teach it by bringing it into the medicine wheel, but we don't have to. So we're creating space and we're going to learn about the elements separate from the directions and the paths, which is why for the course we'll have two segments to each of the paths. So we can work on one of the paths, the directions, and then also go into an element and go also into some practice of how do you really work with the elements, heal with the elements, read them, and so forth. Another tool that we'll be learning here is energy medicine. So a lot of you have worked with me in the past. And so things like soul retrievals, cord cuttings, extractions are maybe not so foreign to you. We're going to learn how to use these tools. I do want to say that I do go into more advanced energy medicine practices in some other courses or when I teach privately. So this will be an opportunity to experiment, to learn more about it, to practice on each other. But it's not yet this certificate of I'm an energy medicine healer now. That's not my intention as well. And also to kind of like you don't have to worry about getting it perfectly. It's just it's there because it helps us also understand the material. And it's something that we need because as we're going through this course, things will come up to be healed, and we can use these tools, learn these tools to help heal each other. So that's a fun bonus, the energy medicine part. Um, And I will say that that will come more also, not just in the second part of each path, but also in the Q&A. So I've divided each of the modules, each of the paths to, teaching the path as it is. Then the second class will be more about the elements and some more practical tools. But then it's also it's a living, breathing group, and so it's what you bring into it, what you need, and then I'll be able to teach and work with it. So really from your participation, that's what the energy medicine will reveal, like what tools will be needed. So please participate and ask. We'll use where you're at in your day when we show up. We'll always do a little check-in and we can use that to do some work. So that will be really exciting. I also use the human design. I want to say I am not classically trained in human design. I've studied with different teachers and on my own. I found that this human design is one of the best ways to prove that everybody's energy bodies are different. When I first studied the medicine wheel with the Four Wind Society, they teach about the energy body and the chakras, the seven chakras, as if they're all the same, meaning like they work in a certain way. And then if it's just not working the way that we were taught, something is wrong. the minute I started practicing energy medicine, that just didn't feel right. I saw people's energies and auras differently, and different doesn't mean wrong. Which is why I've adopted human design, and I am happy to teach the foundations, the basics of it. Also to read people, to understand how they're different, to give them some tools, especially their what is your authority? How do you make decisions in life? For example, has been really helpful. How is your auric field? How do you do protection specifically for your type? This is something that I've been really passionate about, and we will obviously learn more about it in this course. Again, you're not going to get a human design practitioner certificate out of it, but you will learn more about how to use this tool and also learn more about yourself from it. The other part that we will learn, we're still looking at the chakra system. That is still the foundation. It's also seven chakras, seven directions, seven paths. It just worked. So we will learn about the chakra system and the energy bodies. Um, and yeah, the foundations. This one you will feel certified in. The other thing that I'm adding this year to the medicine carrier training are power animals and totems. Jamie Sam specifically has worked with that for many years. One of the most famous animal decks that exist in the world is her power animal deck, that is fully intertwined with the seven directions in these teachings. So there's actually a totem or a group of six animals that fit into each of these directions and can help us weave in a story and understand the qualities of each of the paths and what are the tests, what are the shadows of it. I find that it's a great way to really embody, animate, and work with these teachings. So it's not just all up there in the ethers. So that's really exciting as well. Along with it, you also learn about spirit guides and how to work with these collective consciousness from the animal and plant kingdoms. Lastly, because it is what I do, we will absolutely, and that also has to do with your questions and what you want to bring into it. I do work with sacred plants and different allies. And so we will learn maybe about them specifically, but more than that, what does it mean to have an ally in healing? How do you work with it? How are you coming into right relationship with it? And then also finding your own allies and your own sacred plants or entities. We'll see what comes up. It doesn't need to be of the illegal kind at all. For example, green tea, which is what I'm sitting with, or cacao has been beautiful plant medicine for me that I've been honoring and working with and learning about. So we'll go more into that as well in this course. Moving along. How do you? Okay. So here I just wanted to go over again the medicine wheel, understanding it. Um, as we stated in the opening, when I called in the directions, there are different ways to approach the medicine wheel. I, for one, have first studied it more from the South American tradition and then moved to learn it from the North American tradition. I'm choosing to work more with the North American tradition here. Um, but I do want to state that there are different ways of even starting the wheel. I mean, it's a circle. You can start from wherever you want, right? But that just feels more accurate. And as I'm seeing that we're all in the Northern Hemisphere, it also makes sense. So notice the picture that I've put in. What the order we're going through is starting with the east. The east is, first of all, the dawn, where the sun rises, and it signifies new beginnings. It also brings in the time of spring for us. Um, and then the elements, which I won't get into because I said that gets more messy. But that's really where we start, and that will be our next class And it really fits with today's date, which is really awakening, new beginning, like owning your purpose and your gifts. It's just starting. You're not even you're starting to walk it. You don't know where it will lead, but at least you have a direction, right? It's that first direction you get on. After that, we have the South, which is really growing more and expanding into it. It's connected also to youth and children and play, a lot of play and fun, but also, how kids fall and, fall again and again and have a bruise. So it's a lot about woundings and past woundings and inner child work. It's connected with the summertime where the sun is with us to help us heal fast and bring us energy. Because I do believe I've been working with that Oranda, that fire that I called in before. We have our inner fire. We have a way to warm ourselves up, for example. But as children or as we're learning, we have the grace of the sun, for example, to warm us, to protect us. That's the idea of the South, that we have the grace of the more of the outside forces. But as we go along, we learn that we have it all within ourselves. As we go into the West, that is also maturity. It's growing up. It's when the sun sets and we know that the darkness is only beginning. And then we start seeing how do we apply everything that we've learned in the East and the South direction? How do we apply it now within the darkness? And also, how do we embrace it? What can we learn from within it? It just opens a whole other portal for us to walk through. And lastly, within the four directions, we'll have the North. It's the wisdom, it's the coming back home, it's the elder, it's the winter time. Sorry, I passed the West, which was the autumn. Um, so it's the coming back more into yourself and more into spirit is that final place before you release the spirit, it's also said. Um, it's a place where I connected to the mountains and the mountaintop, or like the elder or the sage sitting at the mountain looking at everything below. So you would look at all those other three paths from below, and noticing what you have gained, what you had to let go of. And that's the first four paths. And that's the medicine wheel, the tradition medicine wheel. Um, any questions? Okay, moving along. Thank you. Okay, beautiful. Then we have the tree of life. Notice that all of this I'm just it's bullet points of what we're gonna get through. We'll also look at the tree of life, and like I said, we will start basically would start with the fifth path, the lower world. And the lower world it connects a lot with past lives, with anyone that's done soul retrieval with me. It's where we start learning about the map of the sacred tree, and we start journeying. We start learning about shamanic journeying and traveling through that tree or other maps as you will find, but here within the roots of that tree and beyond, to find what we have kept there. So it's what's no longer physical. Yes, there's ancestral knowledge, but there's also a lot of wounds, old contracts, basically anything that has happened in the past, is still there for us to draw from or go back to, or maybe just clear. So there's a lot of clearing work that happens in the lower world and a lot of gifts that come from it. Um, so it will be really exciting to delve into that on the fifth path, which is already the path of the guide, of the teacher, because only when you're done the full round of the medicine wheel, you can start going below. The middle world is the next level, which is really is the next level, is how do you bring it up to the physical reality? It's really if we look at the tree of life from Kabbalah, for example, where the most important is actually the one that's closest to the earth. Basically, the chomer, the material, is one that is most spiritual and is really understanding that we have nowhere to run to, hide, go to. It's a gift to have all the spiritual realm condense into this very dense and small physical reality. That's where we understand the percentage of physical reality. That's really like maybe this 10 or 20% out of all that is non-physical and that is affecting us. And yet, this is the place that we can make a difference. So, we're going to learn a lot about the middle world. And again, here we're going to use a lot of the totem and power animals. Then we're going to look onto the upper world, the spirit realm, all that hasn't yet manifested or will no longer manifest. We're going to talk about basically soul's evolution and how souls choose to incarnate on this earth when they choose or decide not to anymore and still work with us. This is definitely the place of spirit, of angels, spirit guide, divine guidance. We're going to learn to work with Akashic records, with the divine council of eight. Beautiful, beautiful explorations of the upper world. And I'm gonna keep going, I guess. This is a lot, so I'm just checking if anyone needs a break. Question. Yeah, you could just, it's hard for me to see everyone, but go, Hagit. Unmute yourself. There we go.
All right, keep having trouble pressing the unmute button. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to share how useful the medicine wheel and the four directions have been in, because I know there are a few people here who mentioned that they work with therapy or mental health, and the four directions are such an amazing map for the seasons and the cycles and reconnecting with the natural cycles. So, like for myself, sometimes when I would find I was really struggling and being in a particular place, understanding where I was, which season I was in, and knowing that it was a temporary season and how to work with it was so, so, so helpful in helping me reconnect with my nature and the nature of cycles. Um, and Kuyas are just like an amazing tool. The stones that you imbue with like these these healing journeys that you yourself that we ourselves go through, that we're able to like have a representation of that particular medicine and use it in ourselves or in the clients that we work with. It's really a transformative tool, because it's like the medicine that you personally go through in your lifetime. We all have these journeys that have been transformative and that represent and feed why we keep wanting to develop and help other people to develop. It's like you have your own medicine bag, literally, of all of these amazing gems that you've collected in your own personal transformation, and you can share them as tools with people, which Hila would obviously get a lot more into. But I just have to say, like, how amazing all of these tools have been in my own personal practice and development.
Thank you, Hagit. Yeah, I think what I'm doing here is really pouring it's like basically step into my office, and when I work with someone, all this material, all this wisdom and knowledge is what I'm carrying, like a turtle, to be able to look at the different levels of being of the person in front of me or the situation, or the space. And it's so valuable, and I've done it again and again when I was just still training. I studied with Alberto, for example, for 3 years after I studied with him. I joined, and I was apprenticing and helping in many of these trainings, and every time going back and learning the wheel again and again, it just goes deeper, and you see how this is such an incredible tool to diagnose, to understand, to have basically a map or an idea of like, where is this coming from? This all of a sudden it all actually makes sense. And then when someone tells me like, I'm sure it doesn't make sense, or I don't know where it's coming from, and I see where it comes from, but it's not like magic or just pure intuition. There is intuition in this, but it's really from understanding this map. It all fits there and understanding that it comes from all different cultures together. So one that has, I really love hybrid and bringing things together. And human design, as I mentioned, has done that. And just added another layer. I know Chagit also loves working with human design. Last time, what we did, and I think we might do this again, is ask everybody for their like birth information so we can chart down the different types, the different maps that each one carries and how they interact with each other and their strength, their weaknesses. It's just so beautiful and so helpful. So that's why I'm also sharing this with you. So again, really like as we say in Hebrew, like al leg on the little fork, like just a little bite as we go deeper into it. Um, so I just wanted to explain this idea of this human design map. As you can see, I found this really great picture that shows that it's really the seven chakras expanded and more in a way that just fits more to our evolution. The seven chakra system comes from about like 6,000 years ago. We have evolved as a species. And there are more centers. We are more defined. We're more like particular about the different centers. And so human design takes these seven chakras and honestly astrology and then brings it into nine centers, meaning like even just working with the spleen, for example, as opposed to the solar plexus, if you can see here. Um, and for me, this brings in a way to work with the Kabbalah's tree of life in a way that's more applicable to the human body and the human energy field. So it talks about nine centers. Each of these centers yeah, almost all of these centers can become an authority center, which already is cool to understand that each person has a different area in their physical body, even that they can turn to and understand that this is my decision-making area. And it's also interesting that for most of us, we haven't been using it because, again, like the squares we talked about, the way that like the cookie cutters, it's as if there's only one way to make a decision, there's one way to think. And here it just opens our minds to understand that there are different ones. So it would be really cool to see for each other, like what is your authority center, for example. Another thing that they talk about is how our auric field, which we'll talk about more also, we'll see like the aura, the energy body, which is basically beyond just the physical body acts different for different people. For example, for me, as I'm called a manifester type, it is a type that the aura field is actually all closed and can repel sometimes energy. Whereas for most people, some that we call generators, they are magnetizing and bringing in energy. This is huge in terms of energy protection, which we're going to learn about. It's called walking with protection. How do you protect yourself energetically, but also how are you not afraid? Like, how do you let go of the fear of being open and receptive to life by understanding how your auric field works and how to navigate that? So we're going to learn about that. Um, yeah, and there's so much more there, but I feel like I'll just leave you with this image now as you keep exploring. And again, there's so much info, so I really would appreciate, and it's okay if not now, there's a lot. Just asking questions. One question that you might feel like it's silly, it's not. If you don't know it, there's others that are afraid to ask the same question. And just by that question, I can open up a whole new avenue of teaching through it. As I try not to bombard you, it's important to hear what you're interested in, what you're moving into. So that's the human design part. Ah, see, almost done with the presentation. You're doing so good. So, the point of this is that we're really reminding ourselves that we're walking each other home. I have this saying that I keep saying there's no reason to do anything on our own. We are tribal. When we learn about soul science, for example, we know that we have soul pods, soul families, councils, clusters. We're not supposed to do everything on our own, figure it out of our own. So even just this group, the fact that everybody together is here, I know that right now I'm the teacher, but really each and every person here is a council member on their own, and they have a lot to teach and help and guide. And I trust that. So more than anything, what this is teaching is how to hold space for all of this and how to allow each and every one of you to show up in their unique spark with their power. I hope my hope, my intention is that I don't outshine or that we can shine together here and help each other. Everybody has their own medicine here to share. And that's the main teaching. And how to help others do that. Um, okay, so lastly, again, so this course is being just this place where we can advance in our own personal growth. The idea is that we can meet regularly and keep meeting ourselves and each other on this path, on this earth path. Um, if you would like, now that I think I finished showing. One second, Phyllis. You have to leave. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Phyllis. Um, so lastly, I just wanted to show you or share really, I have here like the calendar for the training that we can look at together. Um, More information about the training. So I will just post this and I really have this now will be the time for questions and we'll take it from there. So this is our course calendar, just so you know, and I can send it to everyone. Thank you, Brianna, for helping me put this together. As I've mentioned, this is us today, our foundation introduction today. And then we start going into each of the topics. We have two lessons and then a Q&A. It's a lesson, 2 weeks after that, another lesson, and then a week after that, we have a closing Q&A that also includes the healing practices and learning about them. Um, and then moving forward, we will have a Passover break. And as you can see here, right now we have it as closing on August 2nd. I do want to mention well, we could do that. I will be in Thailand. So I will tell you that the August date, I might do it from Thailand or we'll decide to just pause it and do it when I'm back more towards the later of August. But basically we'll be studying until July 26th. So I look forward to seeing who else is joining us here. I know this is going to be a transformative class. Um, yeah, and I will stop the share and see if you have any questions in the little time we have left, or comments or anything, or requests.
Well, hi.
Right.
Thank you, Hila. I don't really have comments or questions. I'm just very excited. Like, can't wait to get deeper on all of these topics. And yeah, also really the practice together and getting to know all of you, or most of you, more and deeper. Yeah, it's really exciting for me. I feel full on ready.
Yay, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, it was I did a really good job explaining, I guess.
Maybe just a question for everyone. If there was any path that feels particularly, any direction that feels particularly relevant for you right now. Like, are you feeling like east energy right now? Are you feeling you're more even above? Like maybe if anyone wants to share on that. I think for me, I'm like pretty solidly in the south, like where I'm at right now.
Pleases East, yes.
I'm
I
like
feel
I'm like spring. I'm like east, south, and my womb is in the west.
I think collectively we are in the East, really. That's what's beautiful, even about the timing. It's all about divine timing, and I've been wondering when to start and how to do it. And it's so beautiful that we're all meeting here on January 11th. It is said to be a portal day. And so I will take the question that Brianna brought, but really wants you to take it deeper and think, what is this first step, right? We talked about like taking on that first step onto the Eastern path, onto a new level of awakening, of knowing, and maybe take a minute to see what was that step that you've already taken, maybe today, maybe in the past week, or about to take. I know that even showing up here is one of those steps, really. You showing up today is that. But what is the step about? What is the purpose about? What is that sacred wish that you're stepping into? So, what's coming to me to do as I see we're all in contemplation is that you can close your eyes and maybe think about this image also first before the labyrinth as we're stepping into it one more time, which is the medicine wheel, the spiraling path. So close your eyes and imagine yourself in this big, beautiful labyrinth, somewhere in the desert. It's built of ancient stones. And as you are about to step in, you might even feel the stone to the right, the masculine energy supporting us, putting your hand onto the stone on the left, the feminine energy that nurtures us. And right as you step forward, just look. Who is coming to walk beside you? Is it a person? It is an energy or color? Is there an animal? Maybe even a plant? Who is coming to walk beside you? And as you lean into this being, ask them, what is this voyage called? What have they signed up to walk with you on? What is this journey called for you? And when you're ready, bringing it into your heart space. And if you want, you can write down in the chat box, maybe the whoever showed up, if you would like, in the name of your journey of that first step. Thailand. That's me. I'm just waiting. Brianna says, coming back to magic. Thank you, Brianna. Amy says, an elder, a guide, journey into Temple Mystery School. Beautiful. Maybe you can even see that temple ahead. Lisa says that her life partner showed up and together they will be on the journey of soul-led parenting while shining our bright lights to the world. Aww. Aww. Zoom user. What's the Zoom user? I think that's Khagit. My guides from the north and south came to greet me. They invited more. Thank you. Allison got a black crow. Oh, more magic. Understanding different levels. Aho. Well, I saw a rabbit. I wish maybe it would be a different animal, but I saw a rabbit. And it made me think about the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. I'm late, I'm late. Dina says mine was an magnetic energy, help to offer deeper understanding and how to use it. Oh, magnetism. We learn about it. Yep, yep. Earth energy, the rhythm. Thank you, Dina. Oh, Chagit says they came with white tiger and aloe. Plant friends. Nice. Beautiful. Ah, okay. Tough. If you don't have any questions, which I saved time for. I know that this is also late, so we can also call it a night. Um, this was a lot of information also just like sent at once and also nothing, right? We just kind of like sent it out, but there's a lot more deepening to each of them, which is why this course is going to take its time to delve into each of them to support this contemplation that we'll have together. So I will share all of this. If there are more questions that come up, let me know. I look forward to seeing all the students in 2 weeks' time when we really start stepping into the east direction and see what lies ahead. From the previous classes, I really loved especially all the different tests and stories that come with it. So I look forward to hearing your own examples of it. That's what really makes this material alive and current for today, as this is ancient and yet very applicable. So thank you all for tuning in. I wish that you have a beautiful portal day and really try to step into something new today and bring in some more light to your life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Toda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.